First, define what forgery is for us. Define what perjury is, and then I'll come back to you on the next question.
Okay, forgery is, trying to procure. Let me just put it in a layman's language, people understand. Trying to, doctor or procure a semblance of an original document, whereas you know that it's not the particular original document, and you want to use it for the purpose to deceive or to achieve a gain. You understand the point? That is in a local parlance, I define it in that particular, way. The moment you want to, kind of, look at an original document and make a replica of it, whereas you know that is not the original, and you want to use it to either make a gain and help yourself to achieve a particular objective. In this case, electoral victory or electoral qualification, as the case may be. Then perjury has to do with lying on oath. For instance, if you for instance go on affidavit, a lot of Nigerians don't know why. You see, when you go for some interviews or whatever, they say, "Can you go and get me an affidavit from the court?" A lot of people don't know why that is being said. The reason why they are saying you should go and get an affidavit from court is that whatever statement of fact you put in that affidavit, if it's now found not to be true, at the end of the day, you will be prosecuted for misrepresenting what otherwise is not true, as the case may be. And you can be jailed or sent to prison for a period of 10 years or 7 years or thereabout. So these are the two issues at hand in terms of forgery and perjury.
All right. Now,
yes.
Let's come to the meat of the matter, the findings from Chicago State University. Well, we've had a lot of these details in the news, at least social media have had so many of it, and there are very few mainstream media who refuse to look into this. But we did, and we have been on it. But now that Atiku, we'll talk about his position from this, but now that he has made this presentation, which we'll get a clip of that very soon, Nigerians are worried, and this worry is tied to the fact that how do we begin to talk about having a president with this record, with such academic record? And I dare go back to the fall, considering the ruling of the Supreme Court on forgery that I just reeled out right now. The issue we are dealing with, by Asimu, is that there was a conscious knowledge of falsehood pushed into the electoral system. And this is not the first time, like the narration said, it's been over 20 years. From 1999, he became a senator. This has been going on, Gani Faemi, and several other allegations on this issue. But now it has been unraveled that there is actually an issue with the present academic record. So now, how do we look at this? How do we manage this situation as a nation? Speaking legally, because a lot of people said he has immunity. He's still going to be the president of Nigeria, even with immunity, considering that this crime was in existence before he became a president.
You see, I do not want to dwell into the proprietary or impropriety of the certificates or the case in court, because they filed their own application or motion yesterday. And I believe there's a memo that was circulated that lawyers should try and be, kind of refrain from running commentaries directly on the legal issue at hand.
Okay.
I am not going to go into the affidavit maybe sworn to by Atiku Abubakar in the case in Supreme Court, or maybe the expected whatever affidavit of a response from the APC, as the case may be, so I don't find myself in problem.
Okay.
But what I will do is that I will just run a little commentary on what I believe is my opinion, which is sacrosanct. It might be diametrically opposed to some opinions that other lawyers hold. But firstly, I want to say that this particular issue we are tackling is an issue more of morality and than that of legality in terms of law. Why am I saying this? In the Nigeria annals, of criminal jurisprudence, if we were to, if Tinubu were to be, if Mr. A was to be taken for forgery before a magistrate court, a high court, the high court will presume him, innocent until that particular court, found otherwise.
Yeah.
So that presumption of innocence should be attached to somebody that is accused of a felony or misdemeanor in criminal jurisprudence. So let us get that one out, first of all. Now, because a lot of people say he has to go to prison, he has not been found guilty by a court of law, for perjury and forgery. So it is not me that established that law. It is, I think, section 36 or 5, but there about 1999 Constitution says that presumption of innocence, must hold sway. That the moment you even arrest anybody for forgery or perjury, you don't convict him immediately, social media or otherwise. You send him to court, first of all, to go and determine his, culpability through gamut of trial. That is taken out.
But he has immunity.
No. If he's criminal, he can be prosecuted when he's removed or disqualified, or when he finishes his 4 years in office. You understand?
Okay.
I have my opinion on what has been presented before the Supreme Court, but I don't want to, air it up for the fact I told you I want to restrain myself to run the commentary. Now, the commentary I want to run is what I did an article. There's a small edition I did, over the night. Okay. And I was asking myself, I said, how come, that we are having this kind of problems? I wanted to publish this today, for a particular platform I belong.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I think I have to, read them out, kind of verbatim, then explain. I just need about 2 or 3 minutes to do all these things. I titled it An Overview of Forgery and Perjury under the Electoral Act. Not under the Criminal Code Act, but under the Electoral Act. And it is my view strongly that look at section 29 of the Electoral Act. It says that parties, that is political parties, are to submit names of candidates, running for election together with an attached affidavit. You understand? I'm just trying to summarize. With an attached. So if PDP, APC wants their candidates to contest for election, they will be the one to submit the list of their candidate they have already approved to, INEC. And while submitting that list, you have to include with that list an affidavit on oath in court. That is what most candidates did. And in that particular affidavit, you are going to, attach to them exhibits. That is where you talk about your qualification. I went to a social school. I went to social school. I went to social school. I went to ETC, my qualification and the kind of life I live. Once you do that, they'll take them to INEC and present. INEC will now automatically say, okay, since the party brought it, you can go. So an offense of forgery or perjury can be raised, if any of the documents are forged. So if a document that I present before INEC, I come out to find out that it was manifestly incongruent with the document of a particular institution. I feel they have done my investigations and they are not the people who are responsible. I can raise an objection to that and say, look, this particular document is forged and this man lied on oath. I believe that is what is going on right now under the whatever we are trying to periscope. Now, if you go further, you see that the question I've constantly asked is this: how would a man, for instance, who proclaim, to have a certificate, if not, let me not use uncharitable words. If you proclaim to have a certificate, why go and doctor it? Why don't you bring that certificate by all means or swear to an affidavit to that effect that it was missing it, as case may be? Then we now go. How do you go and doctor and bring, a certificate just to prove you are entitled to it? I went to university. If my university cannot give me, my certificate, maybe I lost it, I should be able to tell my university to give me a covering note to the effect that, look, I was once a student and this is, I take that to go and swear to an affidavit. So when you verify, it makes things very easy for us. This is a lesson to a lot of politicians. Let them learn from this particular imbroglio.